Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, BNB CBS Gossip. 24 Bill switches Luna's test results. The secret he can't hide. Luna sat in a chair, hands clenched in her lap, stomach fluttering with hope and dread. She had come for one thing today, to get confirmation of whether she was pregnant, and if so, whether that child was Will's. She had sworn to herself she would be brave, whatever the result, but her heart pounded like a drum in her chest. Moments earlier, she had handed over her sample, answered questions, and followed the lab technician into a quiet corridor where she waited alone. Pacing every tick of the wall clock stressed her nerves. Meanwhile, in a sleek, glass-walled office upstairs, Bill Spencer sat at his desk, his face hard, jaw clenched. He flipped open his phone, glancing at messages from his legal team. He had recently learned Luna might be pregnant, and if the baby were Will's, that child would threaten the Spencer Empire inheritance lines and future control over Spencer Publications. He already had a plan. A few minutes later, his assistant knocked and entered with a folder. Mr. Spencer, the results have come in for Luna's DNA preliminary test. She placed a sealed envelope on his desk. They are in this envelope. Bill stared at it for a moment, then reached a decision. He slid his phone to record a voice memo, then held up his hand. I'll take that, he said. Voice cold. He waved her out of the office. Once alone, he took the envelope and in a practiced motion, opened it. Inside were printed results. Not the father, Will Spencer excluded. He frowned. He pulled a pen, grabbed a fresh blank results form he had access, thanks to his influence over certain labs, and carefully wrote the opposite result. Will Spencer is the biological father. He printed it and swapped it with the real one. He reseals the envelope using a little glue and a technique he had once learned in corporate espionage. The seal looked identical. He slipped the falsified result back. Later, he'd tell Luna, and their official result would show Will is excluded, cutting off all possibility of his involvement. His reasoning better to eliminate Will entirely from her mind than risk the truth. He would control what Luna believed, the reveal Luna and Will. Luna paced outside the lab suite's door, every muscle taut. A moment later, the lab technician, Dr. Jensen, stepped out, handed her a sealed envelope. Here are your results. Dr. Jensen said quietly, please take them when you're ready. Luna's hands trembled. She closed her eyes, inhaled once, then opened the envelope. Her eyes widened. The paper read, Will Spencer excluded, not the biological father. She stared at it, barely comprehending. Her knees quivered. She looked up, tears spilling. No, this can't be right. Will, who had happened to come by, having worried for her since the beginning, saw the envelope in her hand and rushed forward. Luna, what is it? She turned to him, face pale, voice breaking. It says it's not yours. Will's eyes widened. What? Let me see. She handed it to him, eyes wide, searching. He read the lines, his face draining of color. No, he whispered, this can't be right, Luna. Maybe there's been a mistake. Luna sobbed, I don't understand. All this time I was carrying your child, and now this. He cradled her. We'll get another test, a second opinion. Don't believe it yet, but in the back of his mind, doubt flickered, and Bill's manipulations were already in motion. Bill's mole. Moments later, Bill met with Dr. Jensen in a private, sterile hallway. The doctor looked nervous. Bill's influence over the lab had been an open secret. You switched the envelope, Bill asked in a low growl. Dr. Jensen swallowed, yes. Mr. Spencer, you said. Bill's eyes were steel. I said, make sure Luna never believes that child is Will's. If she thinks otherwise, she'll fight for custody connections. She'll forever be tied into the Spencer name. We can't risk that. Dr. Jensen nodded, trembling. Bill placed a calming but firm hand on his shoulder. You did well. Nobody must ever know. This is for the good of the company and the family. Aftermath. Faith shattered. Luna retreated to her apartment that afternoon, crumpled on the couch, clutching the official result like a death sentence. She texted Steffy, Rich Taylor, her close friends, pleading help, asking them to fight the result. Will visited. He sat by her side, conflicted, supported. SF trying to hold her. We need to challenge this. Let's go to a neutral lab. Let's go public, demand oversight. Luna shook her head. How can I trust anything now? This result says you're not even the father. What if that's true? What if I've been lying to myself all along? Will grabbed her hand. I promise I will prove it's not true. I won't let you believe in a lie. Yet the seed of doubt borrowed a skeptical mother. Steffy steps in. Steffy arrived at Luna's apartment, seeing the tears, the envelope, the fear. She took the document and read it, gasping, Luna, this can't be right. Steffi said firmly, "We will get custody tests, independent ones. We'll challenge it in court if we have to." Luna looked at her mother, tears in her eyes. "But what if I'm wrong? I don't know what to believe anymore." Steffi held her honey. "We'll get to the bottom of this. I promise you, truth always comes out, even when people try to bury it." A twin testing plan Will consulted with his own lab contacts, calling on forensic experts. He arranged a second paternity test at a neutral, highly respected medical genetics center overseas. The idea to bypass Bill's reach. He also informed his lawyer, "If Luna's results are challenged, I'll file an injunction to freeze any custody or claims Bill might try to block Bill." Hearing rumors of a second test. Began contingency planning. He leaned on statements, lab gag orders, internal leverage to block Luna from accessing more tests, threatening legal moves. He whispered, in coalition with his legal team, "We need to bury any contradictory evidence." He also started recruiting a mole in Luna's circle, someone to feed him rumors and sabotage her efforts. Confrontation at Spencer Mansion. At Spencer Publications in the stately conference room, Bill sat across from Will and Luna, flanked by legal counsel. The tension was thick. Luna's hands shook. Will's jaw was set. Bill held a cup of coffee, his face composed. Will finally spoke. "Your results say I'm excluded, but I think something is wrong. I have initiated a second independent test. Until then, I won't accept this result as true." Bill leaned forward, voice calm but cold. "You're free to fight it, but don't expect me to make it easy. If this result stands, we have to move as though it's true. Legally, financially, emotionally, the baby must be recognized by the one confirmed father." Luna stood, tears in eyes. "You're acting like this child is a liability to you." Bill's expression hardened. "It is. It's too powerful, and we'll both know that it's not personal, it's business." Will's voice trembled. "That's monstrous. A child is never a liability." Bill held his gaze. "You think you know the fight ahead. Let's see who's stronger." Luna turned and walked out. Will followed. Chest tight. Bill sat already still, thinking ahead, testing the truth. The second lab. Days passed, gut-wrenching. Luna and Wolf flew to the overseas genetics center. The lab was modern, sterile, prestigious. They provided new DNA samples. They got fingerprints, chain of custody, protocols, video surveillance, extra seals. Will held Luna's hand as they waited. They whispered promises. They hoped for a definitive result. They feared another manipulation. Meanwhile, Bill made calls in the shadows, contacting lab insiders, asking to intercept results, applying pressure to the overseas lab's local partners. His plan to manipulate again, albeit more carefully back home. Steffi, Rich, and Taylor researched Bill's possible influence on labs, legal precedents, chain of custody issues. They plotted how to guard the new test results the moment of truth. Weeks later, the second lab's representative flew in personally to deliver the result to Luna and Will in a private meeting at a neutral location. Luna's heart pounded. The representative handed them an envelope. Will swallowed. Luna exhaled. She opened it with trembling fingers. She read, "Will Spencer is the biological father, 99.99% probability." Luna dropped the paper. Taze rushed. Will wrapped his arms around her. She sobbed into his chest. The rep added this result as final, certified, fully traceable, chain of custody intact. But the celebration was bittersweet. They knew Bill would fight it. Bill's panic and retaliation. Bill sat in his office watching Luna's announcement spread on social media. The headlines screamed, "Spencer, a confirmed Luna's baby belongs to Will." He watched with clenched fists. He spat into the phone. They think they won, but nothing is over. Nothing. He called his legal team, file motions to challenge chain of custody, allege lab tampering. Press for an injunction. Use everything we've got on staff, PR influence. I want this overturned, or I want everyone destroyed trying to defend it. He also initiated a smear campaign. Plant rumors that Luna switched her samples, that she paid off the lab, that she manipulated Will's DNA. He paid for online commentary, planted articles, leveraged media contacts. He wanted public doubt, a fragile victory, and the war continues in the Forrester mansion. Luna and Will found refuge in Steffi's arms. The truth had finally been confirmed. Luna wept, clutching the second result to her chest. Will kissed her forehead. Steffi held them both, proud and broken, but at the same time, Bill's counterattacks began. Lawyers filed motions. Media ran, she said stories, board members and Spencer associates were called to testify. Allies of Bill quietly suggested the lab was rigged. Luna's credibility was under assault in the legal arena. Will's lawyers fought back with detailed chain of custody logs, security footage from the lab, sworn affidavits. They pressed to stop Bill's efforts to block the truth. In the meantime, Luna recovered emotionally. Her relationship with Will stronger than ever, but cautious, she still questioned whether Bill would stop at nothing. Bill, pacing his office, whispered to himself vengefully. They think they've won. They haven't seen the real fight yet, and in the shadows, someone watched Bill's roster of tactics, recording everything a rival or an allied-toned traitor smiled in the darkness. Preparing to bring Bill's empire tumbling down from the inside out, the baby's paternity was confirmed. The war over its future had just begun. Finn's caught off guard. Luna and Bridget demand the truth inside. April sat on the visitor's chair beside Finn's desk. Her eyes glistened with tears. Her blouse was slightly disheveled, her expression a mixture of guilt, fear, and longing. She was pleading in a low voice. Finn, I can't keep doing this in secret. She was saying softly, this between us, it's tearing me apart. Finn, standing beside the desk, his shout, sleeves rolled, looked weary but resolute. I know I never wanted this, but it happened. I can't take it back, but I don't want to lose you either. She rose, stepping closer than say it, but I need you to mean it. I can't live on half words. Finn exhaled. He reached out, brushing her hair back from her face. They stood close. The air between them charged their lips, almost touched just then the office door creaked open. Farther than usual, Luna stood there, eyes wide, heart pounding, speechless. She had come to speak with Finn about clinic schedules and grant reports, but this scene shattered everything she believed. Finn's body jerked. His face went ashen. April gasped, taking a step back. Luna's chest tightened. Finn's voice broke. This isn't what it looks like. But to Luna, it was too late. The scene before her, April and Finn inches apart, tension pulsing, felt like a betrayal. Luna's lips trembled. How many times, Finn? How many times have you done this behind my back? She whispered. April's eyes started between the two. Luna, please. I never meant for you to see. Luna's voice rose painfully. Don't talk now. She turned and fled from the room, slamming the door behind her. Finn bolted after her, but April placed a hand on his arm. I'm sorry, she whispered, tears falling. Finn hesitated, then dashed down the corridor after Luna. Shock and denial in the hallway. Luna ran down the long hallway, tears burning, footsteps echoing. Finn chased, calling her name, voice heavy with remorse. She stopped at a corner and turned her eyes red, furious. Explain, she demanded. Voice cracking. Finn took a cautious step forward. Luna, I can explain. Please, just hear me. She shook her head sharply. No, I don't want your explanation. I trusted you. I believed in you. Ties slipped, and now this. She gestured toward the direction of his office. This is your explanation. He exhaled. Yes, but it's not the full one. What you saw was part of something more complicated. Luna stayed disbelieving. More complicated. What could make this okay? Finn swallowed. I can't tell you everything yet, but know that I never intended to hurt you. She laughed, bitter. Never intended, that's supposed to make it better. She lowered her voice. You'd better hope there's some truth beneath the lies. Finn Luna watched her go frozen, guilt and fear written across his face. Bridget's arrival and demand moments later. Bridget Logan arrived at the clinic, expecting to meet with Finn. She stepped into the corridor, saw April's empty chair. The office door closed, she frowned, pushing the door open. Quietly inside the room was empty, just the faint echo of tension. Bridget's heart thudded. She rushed to the open door, glancing down the hall, spotting Luna's retreating figure. She sprinted after her in the foyer. She caught Luna just as she paused. Leaning against the wall, shaking, Bridget placed a gentle hand on Luna's shoulder. Luna, what happened? Luna turned, tears fresh. Mom, Finn, April. I saw them almost, I don't know how much, but it was close enough. Her voice trembled. Mom, I don't know what to believe anymore. Bridget's face hardened with protective instinct. She guided Luna back inside, seating them just outside Finn's office. Stay here. She told Luna firmly, I'm going to speak to him. Luna nodded numbly, head bowed, tears falling. Bridget's mind spun anger, betrayal, fear, but above all, a determination to protect her daughter and uncover the truth. Bridget strode into the office. Finn was inside pacing, trying to steady his composure. He froze at her entrance. Bridget, she cut him off. Don't lie. I don't want your excuses. She held up her hand. Luna saw something. April told me she was here. What is going on? Finn closed his eyes and exhaled. I never wanted Luna to see I messed up. Bridget's eyes narrowed. Messed up is a weak phrase for betrayal. You owe Luna and the truth. There was a long pause. Bridget's face softened slightly, then she forced firmness. We're going to do a paternity test. Now, Luna has a right to know what real is happening if there's a child involved, or was everything must be transparent. Finn's face paled, paternity test, but Luna's not. Bridget interrupted. Don't lie to me again. I will not let secrets fester. She stood tall. If a paternity test reveals anything, you will accept responsibility. No running, no hiding. Finn's voice cracked, okay. Okay, do it. Bridget nodded, good, I'll arrange it. Luna deserves the truth with that, she turned, leaving Finn behind, face drawn in the sterile room. Emotional fallout back in the foyer, Luna sat beside Bridget. Her face was pale, her eyes empty. She clung to her mother's hand. Bridget put an arm around her. Luna whispered, tears slipping. I'm so tired I don't know who you are anymore. Finn Bridget held her tighter. You are not at fault, sweetheart. No matter what the test says, we'll get through this, I promise you. Luna nodded weakly, leaning her head on her mother's shoulder. The weight of uncertainty pressed on them the test and delay that evening. Bridget arranged for a lab technician to come to the clinic discreetly. She insisted on chain of custody protocols, sealed vials, documented transfers, video timestamping. She wanted to ensure no tampering. Finn submitted a sample. Luna submitted a sample, depending on whether a child is involved or whether test is for a prior incident. And April submitted if needed. The technician left with the samples, locking them away. Days passed, Luna barely ate or slept. Bridget pushed everyone around her to support Luna's Steffy, Rich Taylor, all visited, offering comfort meals. Legal counsel Finn tried to speak with Luna, left messages. Stood outside her door. She refused to answer, she needed time. Bridget confronted, April, privately, April, I want your full cooperation. No lies, no hiding. This test will reveal everything, and I expect honesty. April gazed back, guilt and fear warring in her eyes. Unexpected twist, the results hatched danger. A week later, Bridget received a call late at night from the lab. They had preliminary results, though she was warned only a full certified report was definitive. She excused herself and walked to a quiet room. Opening the document, her eyes widened. The results read, no conclusive match. Paternity cannot be determined. Further testing required. Bridget's breath came fast. She stared at the page. Something was off. She studied the metadata, timestamps, sample, lot numbers, one vial code seemed misaligned. She frowned. Someone had interfered. She clenched her teeth. She knew Bill or another hidden actor might be tampering. Bridget's protective instinct flared. She would dig deeper. Luna learns partial truth. The next morning, Bridget gently woke Luna. She handed Luna the preliminary result. Luna scanned it. Confusion and dread etched across her face. It's inconclusive. Bridge explained it doesn't prove anything yet. I'm ordering further tests and oversight. I'm not trusting this is final. Luna's voice trembled, so we don't know what to believe. She stared blankly. Is it even worth fighting for the truth anymore? Bridget held her close. It is more than ever. If someone's trying to hide something, we'll discover it. I won't let you be deceived. Luna closed her eyes, leaning into her mother's strength. Finn's crisis of conscience. Finn sat alone in his apartment later that day, replaying memories, the look in Luna's eyes when she stormed past him. The fear and shame in April's voice, Bridget's stern demand. The preliminary test result, blocking clarity, he whispered, anguished, what have I done? How did it get this far? He picked up his phone, typed one message to April, we need to talk. No more secrets, then deleted it. He stared at it, heart pounding. He knew he had to protect Luna from further pain, but he also knew someone was pulling strings behind the scenes. Bridget launches investigation. Bridget, unwilling to accept ambiguity, launched an investigation. She hired a forensic genetics consultant to examine the test procedures, chain of custody, logs, videotapes from the lab, metadata on the report file. She also quietly examined who had access to those labs, who had motive to hide paternity. Bill Spencer's name loomed large in her mind. She reviewed lab staffing changes, email logs, internal memos. She discovered an odd notation: a lab technician had requested unscheduled overtime the night the samples were processed. Their name was unfamiliar. Bridget leaned forward, resolved she would find the truth, no matter the cost confronting the suspected saboteur. One afternoon, Bridget confronted the lab director in his glass office. She presented the anomaly. Look at this technician's overtime request, she said. Look at the timestamps. Someone intervened. The director's face paled. He stammered, I will check the logs. I will cooperate fully. Bridget's eyes blazed. I expect nothing less, because no child and no woman should be robbed of the truth. Luna's decision. Luna, watching the struggle around her, began to steel herself. One evening, she returned home to find Bridget and Steffy waiting. Steffy reached out. Luna, whatever the outcome, we stand with you. Luna inhaled, nodding. I want the full test. I want transparency. I want the world to know the real truth, not lies, not tampering. Bridget smiled proud. Then that's what we'll do. Luna stood straighter than she had in days. The pain in her eyes softened with resolve. Final scenes. The battle quiet before storm in the conference room of Forrester Creations. Bridget met privately with Will. If Will is in the picture, she showed him the preliminary result and the anomaly she discovered. His eyes narrowed. Will asked quietly, are you saying someone manipulated it? Someone powerful?